tie them at this point. Binding wire. Binding wire. So now that we've looked at how the iron is going to be done, because iron is the first work, the next work that's going to be done is form work. You need a carpenter. And form work usually gives form to concrete. Okay, you need a very good form work because the concrete takes the shape of the form work. Just like when you put water in a cup, according to Bruce Lee, you put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water in a teacup, it becomes a teacup. So the concrete is going to take the shape because it's like the bodies, like the container for the form work is the wood that is holding it, container for the concrete, right? So what we're going to use now for our form work, we have to use flat woods. The flat we're using wood. Okay, we're using flat wood. So we'll call the carpenter to come and do the form work. He's going to brace it. So usually the form work looks like this, right? So it's going to take the shape of that concrete. Remember, this is the floor here. This is the floor. Since it will take the shape of that concrete, if we're looking at the form work from the front, it's going to be flat like this. Of course, there's going to be a corner based on the shape of the balcony. Okay, then you have another form work here. So we'll go this way. This is the form work behind it, right? So you have form work in front, you have form work behind, and in between this form work is where we're going to be pouring our concrete. In between the form work, the carpenter will make, we're going to pour our concrete in between it. Of course, the carpenter is going to brace the form work this way, because when you fill concrete has load and they tend to push the boards apart from each other. So another wood will go, they are going to nail the wood here, and they'll nail it here and they'll nail it here, so that it can hold the board at the top together. Okay, so they don't spread open. So it's going to brace it, it's going to brace it on and on. So when it does it, we're going to pour the concrete. Remember, it has iron in it, right? This iron that we have here is actually inside. The form work is done around the iron because the iron needs to be around the concrete. So now that we've looked at form work, our next step now, after the form work, is to ensure that the measure of the form work is actually correct. Now, if we look at this, the concrete is what? It's 400 mm. I like to use centimeters, so I'll just say 40 centimeter. It's 14 centimeter high, and it's about 230 centimeter wide. You can see it here. 230 centimeter wide, 400 centimeter high. Okay, we made a change to this. 23, it's not 23 centimeter. Now it's about 17.5. That was a later change. We already started casting, but they gave us a change which makes it 17. So actually now the width of this concrete is 17.5. Your form work has to respect that. If you take your tape and you're measuring the form work from board to board, it has to be 17.5 on the dot. And if you're measuring the height of the form work, the carpenter will cut the wood, it has to be 40. So this actually ensures that the concrete meets our height and width specification based on the plan. Now that we've done the iron, the drilling, right? Remember the drilling. Remember I said the door's job is to hold the beam to the slab so it doesn't fall off, right? Then the job of the distribution bars, this ones that go across, is to ensure that when the concrete is shrinking, it doesn't crack. That's the job of distribution bars. And we look at the form work. So iron work is done first, followed by form work. And the form work have met our dimensions, right? For in terms of width and in terms of height. Okay. Now, usually there's a wall here. There's a wall here, and there's another wall at this point. Okay. There's another wall at this point. If you look at the drawing, let's just say that we are doing it for. Let's just say we're doing it for this place. Okay. This we're doing it for this place. So this is a wall here.